What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski and I am back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we have a brand new raid boss that was announced. Now, we actually knew there was going to be a new raid boss this month on, I think it's like the 13th or something of October. We knew it was coming, but we just didn't know which one it was going to be. And surprisingly, it was one that most thought we were never ever going to get on Global. And we have Clash Shiki the Golden Lion. This guy has come way too early for us. We really are not prepared in order to take this guy on. Honestly, I think a majority of the players in Global One Piece Treasure Cruise will find it very, very difficult in order to beat this guy without using a gem to revive. He is very, very difficult. So remember, guys, if you guys cannot beat him, please do not be disheartened, because he is one of the most difficult raid bosses in One Piece Treasure Cruise history. Very, very difficult. However, it is very rewarding because the unit itself is absolutely insane. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into the video. So first off, let's go ahead and break down the new unit that you guys will be able to get a hold of in this raid boss, being Golden Lion Shiki of the Golden Lion Pirates. This guy here is a 5-star unit that does evolve from the droppable 4-star version, and he is a strength-driven slasher type character, so really awesome attribute and class distribution right there. And at max level, at level 99, he has 2,424 health, 1407 attack, and 292 recovery. So very, very solid stats right there for a raid boss. He has a cost of 50 like all of the other raid bosses, and he does have 3 socket spots, which is phenomenal. Now, his captain effect will boost the attack and HP of driven characters by 2 times. That is absolutely awesome. As I was just mentioning in literally today's video that I uploaded on how to beat the Dead End Island, the Fortnite Island, and I mentioned that one of the units in there is a really cool free-to-play driven character for a captain, and you know, Shiki also fits that sort of category as well. He's an amazing free-to-play captain for driven teams, doubling the attack and HP of driven characters. Now, his special, which is amazing, which starts at 30 turns and maxes at 15 turns. It will first of all deal 30 times the character's attack as typeless damage to all enemies. That is a lot of damage. And then block, G, and bomb orbs on driven characters are changed into matching orbs. That is phenomenal, but it's not done yet. It will also boost the attack of driven characters by 1.75 times for 1 turn. Like, how crazy of a special is that? You get massive amounts of AoE damage, you get really nice orb manipulation with block G and bomb orbs all changed into matching, and you get a 1.75 times boost to driven characters for a single turn. His special and captain effect is amazing, his stats are amazing, his classes are amazing, and he's also a strength unit. So this guy is definitely someone you want to try and max out. He is absolutely one of the best raid bosses in the game thus far in One Piece Treasure Cruise. Now let's go ahead and break down all of the 5 stages that will be in this raid boss dungeon. So for stage 1, you have 6 different fodder units, and they all have, you know, 20,000 HP, so they are pretty easy to take down. And if you do get hit by them, they do a lot of damage. You know, you can see between 3 and 7k for all of these units on the field at one time, which is absolutely crazy. So you definitely want to make sure that your stalling is, you know, very, very on point. Otherwise, you'll be taking too much damage, and then when you get to Shiki, you won't have, you know, enough health to withstand an attack or 2 if you need it. So he's definitely going to be a really, really tricky getting to Shiki, and then Shiki himself is also very, very difficult. But all of these first room guys here have 20,000 HP, as I said, so they are really easy to take down, and yeah, well, they do a lot of damage as well, so you do have to take, you know, that into account when you are trying to stall for your specials reaching stage 5. Now, once you move on to stage 2, there is actually one specific unit that you do have to be very, very careful about, which is the Fishman guy, which is actually pointed out on the screen. This image was actually taken from GameWith. All of the information that I do find is from GameWith, and it is always linked in the description down below if you guys want to read it for yourself. But this specific Fishman guy is very important, because if you don't kill him in the first turn, he will despair both your captain and your friend captain for 5 turns, and even with sockets, you will still be despaired for 2 turns. So especially if you're bringing a team that boosts your HP, HP, then, you know, you're going to lose all of your HP when you get despaired from this guy. So he's definitely a priority that you want to try and take down as quick as possible. Also, the Strength Pirate Captain on the left-hand side, if you leave him alone, he will actually lock unit that he is weak to, and obviously he's a red unit, he is weak to blue units, so he will lock all your blue units on your team for 5 turns. And again, even with sockets, you're still going to be chained for 2 turns, even at max sockets, so you do have to be very, very careful about that. And then the other units are pretty standard. You got the Baroque Works Bazooka, the Int character, and he does a hefty amount, nearly 6,000 damage, and he has 50,000 HP as well, so he's pretty tanky. And then all of the bodyguards at the back are reasonably weak. They only have about 20,000 HP and a 4,000 attack power. So once again, you really have to make sure that you are leaving the units alive that have the highest cooldowns, so you can get the most sufficient stalling in that you possibly can. Once you complete stage 2, you will arrive at stage 3. Now, stage 3 is really, really interesting because you'll actually see that there is an Elder Turtle there, and you can actually drop the Elder Turtle when you complete the 60 stamina version of this dungeon, which is actually really awesome. Chance to get Elder Turtles while farming for your raid boss, which is absolutely awesome. Now, the main unit on this stage that causes the most problems is the Dex Squid character. Now, this Dex Squid has approximately 74,000 HP, and he will attack you every single turn for 3,936 damage. Now, he does a preemptive attack that will basically paralyze one of your characters on your crew, including your captains, for 4 turns. And every single turn after that, if you don't kill him, he'll keep paralyzing a unit on your crew for 4 turns. And it does stack. If another unit is paralyzed and he paralyzes the same unit, it adds another 4 turns onto that. So you do have to be very, very careful about that. I would highly recommend trying to focus down on that squid, just so you do not get your characters paralyzed. However, getting paralyzed might be somewhat of a good thing, because if you notice that the 2 turtles, the Elder and the Daimyo Turtle, only have 2 and 4 HP respectively, so you do have to try and, you know, if you want to stall on that, then if you are paralyzed, you can try and hit them with your paralyzed unit, and it won't actually attack them. So that might be some sort of a stall tactic that you guys might want to apply for your runs against Shiki. So if you're paralyzed and you hit the turtle with your paralyzed unit, it may not attack, meaning that you get a lot more time to stall out on these turtles, because the Daimyo Turtle is like the lowest hitting unit on the whole raid boss. So, you know, if you want to try and stall, the Daimyo Turtle is definitely the best one to do so, because he only hits for 1,890 damage. Every other unit in this raid boss hits for a lot of damage, so he might be the best unit to try and stall on if you guys want to do that. And also the 2 dinosaurs, there is a T-Rex and a Triceratops. Both of those guys have a lot of HP, and they will hit you for a very, very hefty amount as well, so you do have to try and keep that in mind as well. Try and take down the squid and the 2 dinosaurs as quick as possible, so you guys aren't taking that much damage. Moving on to the second last room on stage 4, we have a whole different array of many, many different units. And number 1, let's just start off with the Elder Seahorse. Now, like most other raid boss dungeons, the Elder Seahorse will lock a random unit on your team for a certain amount of turns, and in this specific raid boss, he will lock a random unit for 6 turns, and he has a HP of 5, so if you guys have a 5-hit combo unit, definitely use that guy in order to take down the Seahorse, as it will kill him in a single shot. Now, the second unit that I want to talk to you guys about is the Bird or insect character, the Dex character that is actually pointed out in the image above. So that character is very, very important. So it has approximately 100,000 HP, and I'm not too sure what his attack power is. I tried researching, but I really couldn't find any value of what his attack power is. But he does have a 3-turn cooldown. So a lot of people think, okay, I'll leave him till last because he has a 3-turn cooldown. Definitely do not do that, because after the first 2 turns, he will blind your crew for 11 turns and buff his own attack. And I did actually mention it there, but he will also berserk all the other enemies on the enemy side, which means they're all going to go down to a 1-turn cooldown, and they all will have a buffed attack. So you have to be very, very careful about the Southbird character. Definitely try and take him out first. You know, also with the Seahorse, those guys you want to take down in that first turn, or as quick as possible before the Southbird actually activates its preemptive or just special attack. Otherwise, you know, it's going to be very, very hard for your crew in order to beat the Shiki raid boss. Now, the other characters on the enemy side is also a crab and a lobster. They have very low HP, but they hit for a lot of damage. So, you maybe not want to take too much damage from those guys. They do a lot. As you can see, the lobster does about 5k damage. And the other characters are two quick bodyguard characters. And they have the same as the other ones, 20,000 HP. Pretty easy to take down. And an attack power of 3,618. So, definitely the ones you want to try and focus on first is the seahorse and the southbird character. And the rest of the characters you can potentially stall on or take a hit from or whatever you guys want. But as I mentioned, the seahorse and the southbirds, definitely the priority units to take down in stage 4. And now we've reached the big bad boss himself, stage 5, the boss stage, Shiki the Golden Lion. Now this guy has approximately 4.65 million health and an attack power of 7,008 on a 1-turn cooldown. He will attack you every single turn. Now, there's a lot to this guy. There is so much to talk about, so let's get straight into it. So, his preemptive attack will swap your captain with another member on your bottom row of your crew for a single turn. So that is a brand new mechanic that they've introduced with this boss stage Shiki, is that he'll actually take your captain and throw him to the bottom of your crew and then take the character at the bottom of your crew and put it at the top. So it's really crazy, really weird. It means your team composition has to be a little bit different, meaning that the characters on your bottom row of your crew have to have somewhat of a similar captain effect as your actual captain, so that you're not missing out on too much damage or HP or anything like that. So it really means that your team composition has to be on point in order to actually beat Shiki. So not only does he swap your captain with one of your other crew members on the bottom row, he will also randomly shuffle your orbs and apply a 1-turn debuff protector. So upon entering that first room, you cannot actually delay him at all. But it gets worse from here. After the first turn of attack, he will cut your HP in half and shuffle your orbs with a chance of G and bomb orbs appearing as well in that orb shuffle. And then, after the swapping of captains is gone away, he will then swap your captain with another crew member, but this time instead of the bottom row, it will be your middle row for a single turn. So that's, again, really annoying. So after the first turn of the bottom row captain being in your captain position, they get swapped back, and then he'll do it again, but with the middle row. So that's going to be super annoying. And not only that, you get your HP cut in half, and the shuffle of orbs, chance of G and bomb orbs, which the G orbs are nice, but the bomb orbs can be a little bit annoying. So you may want to bring some sort of orb shuffler in order to get rid of those bomb orbs, just in case if you guys do not want to get hit with that 10% health cut. Then following that turn, on the second turn, he will disable all buffs and debuffs, basically like what Raid Boss Eneru does. He'll go ahead every 2 or 3 turns, he will blow every buff and debuff away so that everything is set back to neutral. And not only does Shiki do that, but then he applies a debuff protector, but this time for 2 turns. So you do have 1 turn of, you can delay him for 1 turn or whatever, between turn 1 and 2. You can actually apply a delay there or whatever you guys want, but the following turn, he will actually just get rid of it anyway. So you only get 1 turn of delay possible on this guy, which is kind of annoying. And then on turn 3, he will swap your captain with a crew member on the bottom row for 1 turn once again. And then on turn 4, he will seal the specials of all crew members on the right side for 1 turn. And then this whole cycle of turn 1 to 4 will keep repeating until you die or until he dies or whatever. But there is another special condition with this guy. When you knock his HP down to 0, he has a special effect. He will recover 30 HP and then buff his attack and defense for 4 turns. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, okay, so he only recovers 30 HP, so I should just be able just to knock him out, right? Not really, because his defense boost that he has is immense. It is so high, and that attack boost means that when he attacks you, he's going to be dealing, give or take, 21,000 damage to you. So it's going to be very difficult to take him down once he recovers, but you guys can use a fixed damage dealer or a defense neutralizer, so knocking their defense down to 0, and then you can just hit the character. But then again, you have to try and make room for that in your team, so that's what makes Shiki very difficult, is his high health, his high attack. He'll attack you every single turn. He also swaps your captain around, so it makes it very difficult in order to get the right team composition. And also, when he revives, he's also very tanky on that revive, so you have to bring some sort of fixed damage dealer or a defense neutralizer. So this guy, Raid Boss Shiki, is a very difficult raid boss, and I know a lot of you guys probably won't be able to beat him without spending gems. So it is what it is. It's very difficult. I don't expect a lot of people to actually be able to do it, but if you guys can do it, you guys should go ahead and max this guy out because he's an absolute beast. So now that we've broken down the unit itself and the things that will stand in your way in order to actually get the unit in Shiki, let's go ahead and break down a specific team that all people should have access to, being a free-to-play team with an Eneru and a Mako captain. So the way that it works is with your Eneru and your Mako, you have really nice damage reduction from Mako, a 30% damage reduction, and also NL gives you a 5 times his recovery every single turn. So you got a little bit of damage reduction, you got recovery every single turn. So that's what makes this team really, really good, because you'll have a lot of opportunities to get really nice stall off because you have the damage reduction and the healing, which is really, really nice. Now the sub-units is what makes this team work so well. So you have that story mode Rob Lucci, that blue Lucci. If you guys do not have that Lucci, it's going to be very, very difficult to make this team work. If you have potentially Thatch, his special might come in handy and, could potentially work, but that does still rely on RNG to get the orbs that you need. But, if you guys have this blue Lucci, I highly recommend to use the blue Lucci because he is insane. It changes all adjacent orbs into blue, and any recovery orbs on your team that you have are also changed to blue. So you have a lot of opportunities to get those quick orbs, and then you have that Doflamingo raid boss in order to switch some orbs around. You've got Mihawk. Now you want to use Mihawk as soon as you enter the room with Shiki, which will cut all the enemy's HP by 30%, obviously. And you also have the 1000 Sunny as well. I forgot to mention that. The 1000 Sunny you want to use on the stage with the Neptunian Squid because it will knock out the 2 turtles. If you guys need to stall on the turtles, then you might want to just do that. But the 1000 Sunny is really good because it will knock out the turtles. It will also go ahead and knock down the HP of the blue and the red dinosaurs to nearly negligible. You can pretty much take them out very, very easily, and the squid gets a lot of HP shaved off it as well. So it's really, really good for taking on that stage because you obviously do not want to get your units paralyzed that much, so that's going to be really good. And the last unit you can see that is question marked, that really can be replaced by whichever blue unit that you have. I highly recommend a really strong blue unit, or someone with potentially a lot of HP, or someone with just a really, really good special. If you guys have Gladius, that would be the most prime unit to bring because he gives himself a blue orb, and also he shaves the enemy's HP by 20%. That is so, so good. Makes taking him on that much more secure. So highly recommend that. But the way that this team works is you use Mihawk on the first, turn or whatever. And then you want to just keep knocking down as much damage as you possibly can. Before you're about to die, you want to go ahead and make sure that your Eneru and your Mako are your 2 captains. And then when you're about to die, you go ahead and use Mako's special to heal back to full. So you have Mako's captain effect active. Then you use your blue Lucci and your Doflamingo to just shuffle around your orbs to make sure that your blue characters have the blue orbs. And you've obviously got Eneru as well. Now you probably want to use Eneru and then your Mako special. So Eneru will make your HP go down to 10%, and then Mako will put you all the way back up to full with his special. And then you want to attack with the right units in the right order to make sure that your blue characters are hitting last in the chain in order to deal as much damage as possible to Shiki. And then when he gets down to 0 and he revives, you guys can just go ahead and regularly attack. And if you guys have 15,000 HP with this team, Mako with his damage reduction for his captain effect will actually reduce the damage so you can live it, because I'm pretty sure it will make it go down to about 14,000 damage for Shiki's revived attack. And then after you just hit all your combo hits in that first revive turn, you guys can just take him down in the second revive turn anyways. So this team works reasonably well if you guys have all of your units maxed with max specials. This team works really, really fine. Also would highly recommend bringing a friend Mako that has sockets on it and also has a max special that will make your runs a whole lot more easier as well. So overall, this is probably the best free-to-play team that I could possibly find, and I hope it works out for all of you broskies out there trying to get your hands on the Golden Lion Shiki. So that is going to conclude yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and if you guys have enjoyed it, make sure to smack the like button down below. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.